Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 2.17% to 37,794. Ethereum down 2.74% to 2787. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explain the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, and you can always reach out to me and directly message me on Twitter anytime. It's beautiful to remember that life resets daily. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Today is a brand new day. There's some really interesting news happening in Argentina, which is in South America, just down here. Argentina is the largest speaking Spanish nation in the world by area. It's the second largest country in South America after Brazil, and the fourth largest country in the Americas. And just for a bit of fun, it's the 8th largest country in the world. It has a population of 45.38 million and a GDP per capita of 22,891 with 7% unemployment. Now you might say, Ken, what are you giving me a geography lesson for? What's this to do with crypto? Well, Argentina is experiencing really high inflation. You can see it's up actually to 55.1%. To protect purchasing power, Argentina's largest private bank launches crypto service, and they're actually accepting Bitcoin, Ethereum, USDC, and XRP. And that's not the only bank that's actually doing this. 4 other Argentinian financial institutions are setting up and launching crypto trading services. And we can see that Argentina is following countries like Cuba, Brazil, and Panama, following El Salvador's footsteps. This particular bank has over 7 million customers and it's giving access. But there's a bit of a catch. They can buy and trade crypto, but they can't withdraw it. And it's pretty interesting that the mayor of Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, announced last month that the city would begin accepting crypto as payment for public financial services. The Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT collection has been doing really well, and Yuga Labs has made millions on other side, and so did scammers. You have to be really careful about your purchases of NFTs and indeed anything that you do in crypto. Scammers are absolutely everywhere. Just always go to trusted sources. That's why I always say I have links in the description of this video. That's designed to keep you safe. Scammers have actually stolen $3.7 million worth of NFTs through phishing attacks posing as Yuga Labs, other side NFT launch. You have to be really aware of fake websites and fake accounts. There's a whole lot of information that you need to know. I'm actually going to do a deep dive into scammers and what they do. Keeping yourself safe from scammers is really important. In other news, Gatorade has filed a trademark for a digital product, a digital drink that will be used so you don't get dehydrated in the metaverse. Life is truly changing, isn't it? So Gatorade filed with the USPTO to offer virtual beverage products in the metaverse. It's playing catch up with McDonald's, who did so in February. You might have noticed recently that Algo has been partying pretty hard. That's because Algo signed a sponsorship deal with FIFA. This is actually really good news for Algo. Because the FIFA World Cup will be held in Qatar later this year, we can expect more and more interest in Algo. And you can see here this news is positively affecting Algo's price. Vitalik is trying to reduce gas fees, and thank you Vitalik, we really need that. With EIP 4844, Vitalik wants to reduce gas fees to below 5 cents. Well done, my friend, that's what we need. Shiba Inu holders will receive their rewards for burning SHIB tokens on May the 17th. Just keep your eye out for any positive momentum inside SHIB. In other news, Wikipedia won't be taking crypto anymore. And the dear old SEC, the Securities Exchange Commission, good old Gary, is up to it again, hiring 20 new enforcement staff for a unit that protects investors from crypto scams, focusing on NFTs, decentralized finance, and coin offerings. Yesterday, you may have seen CRO coin falling very heavily because that's Crypto.com announcing that they would cut rewards down to card holders. We see today the Kronos prices, CRO, sees a slight rebound as Crypto.com reverses on staking changes. Basically, Crypto.com is announcing that it is not reducing staking rewards so significantly. It's still reducing them, but it's instead of going to 0, 4% and 8%. So just be aware that when you read some particular lines in articles, it may give you the wrong idea. This particular article wrote, fortunately for investors though, it seems that the company won't be implementing the changes. Then a couple of paragraphs later, it says, well, actually they are, but it's just less. You must read the articles. It's really, really important. And good old Gary Gensler is up to it again. Good on you, Gary. SEC nearly doubles crypto cyber enforcement staff. The SEC, one organization of love and kindness to the crypto industry, is trying to hammer it down yet again. There's no doubt that if the SEC actually focused on eliminating scammers from the crypto space, that would protect investment and investors. What we can see is that so many scammers are out in crypto land. It's just unbelievable. And some news with Matic. Polygon now supports ApeCoin with access to 19,000 dApps. Opportunities reset daily, and life is always waiting for you to be ready for abundance. Always keep this in your mind. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday, today is a new day, a chance to begin again. Rule 570, psychology sets profitability. We talk about a lot of concepts in our community, and one of them is the 10% per week. And it's a concept, it's an idea. And why do we talk about this idea? It's not to make crazy percentages. It's to understand how to take the stress and pressure off yourself and do a thing called BORSOG, buy on red, sell on green. But the concept is this: if you took a certain amount of money and made a 10% return within a week, and you kept on doing that for each week, you would actually make a return of 11,639% in a year. That's 117.4x. A lot of people say, I want my 100, 200, 300, 400% increase. 11,600 is better than 500%. Please keep this in mind. You only have to regularly do a small percentage, and it doesn't need to be 10%. It can be whatever you want. But the concept is you must have the knowledge. You need the rules. You need the patience. You have to have a real wealth focus, and you must buy on red. You need to make the percentage work for you. But this is a way you can de-stress yourself. You can put just a little bit of your portfolio into actually seeking to attain these kind of returns, and it will make you a much, much better investor. A beloved community member reached out and shared a trade with me on PYR. Now, the interesting thing, when anybody goes from PYR USDT, they're buying at spot. If you have something based with USD, you are probably buying under leverage. Just be aware of that. That's kind of a hidden gotcha that a lot of people don't know about. Now, look at PYR. It's really spiky. It's going up and down, up and down. Let's have a look at this downturn. One thing to bear in mind, investors buy and sell. Traders buy and sell. There is just buying and selling inside the market. If you narrowly define yourself, I am an investor, I am a trader, you're doing a disservice to yourself. You're simply buying and selling. but you need to know how to buy and sell correctly. Let's have a look at this. What we see, PYR actually came down from its peak to this particular bottom, 61.22%. If a person was investing here, just accumulating, that would be really, really difficult. And let's say that they had really bad timing and unfortunately bought at the top because they felt so certain that things were going to keep on going up. And this is what always happens inside markets. People want certainty, so they wait and wait and wait. And when they get in, they encounter this. We see it time and time again. If you're stuck underwater with certain portfolio movements, please be kind to yourself, but more importantly, also be kind to others. When things go down in price, of course we don't like it, but there is a different way to actually engage with the market, and I'll show you how you can do that. But if we look at this particular price action, for an investor, this investor would be increasing their losses on the way down. But there's another way to do things. To share anything with you, I require a trade history. And what we can see here, there was a certain amount of PYR bought on the 1st of the 5th, and that was $5,000. And then it was sold at various levels, various prices here to accumulate to whatever that is. I'll just go through the process with you. If we add all of these figures up, we get a number of 5724, 1943, and this particular buy is 4999, 9956. And we'll just keep two dates in mind, the 1st and the 3rd. All the sales are occurring on the 3rd. The purchase is occurring on the 1st. Let's just set these levels up. The buy was at 804. Just here, and we had 921, 922, and 934. Those were the sell levels. So zooming out, remember how much this actually dropped, and this beloved community member came in and bought here and sold here. So we can see that 2 days passed, and that's actually confirmed by the logs anyway. We put 499, etc. in there, and 5724, 1943 in there. The return was $724.20, which was a 14.484% return. That, if annualized, if this actually occurred every 2 days, which would be rather difficult to do, but if it did, you can see that percentage. It's just, I won't even speak it out. It's crazy. And I'm not suggesting that we go for percentages like that. But if you actually see that you can make money under all market conditions, that's a blessing to you, not a problem. This is an example of BORSOG, buying on red, selling on green, buying on red, selling on green, buying on red, selling on green, buying on red, selling on green. It takes knowledge to do. It's not as simple as, oh, the market went red, I'll buy. It's not like that. You must have the knowledge. Please keep something in mind. Markets reward knowledge and penalize the lack of it. Sometimes people get into the market and they say, I came from the stock market. I know all about crypto. Crypto is an exponential market. It's like a market of bubbles. If you understand bubbles, that's good, because that's what crypto is. But they're bubbles that keep on growing. And this is a thing that puts many stock market investors off actually getting into crypto because they think it's a bubble market. Actually, the crypto industry is all about the upgrade of the internet from Web 2.0 to Web 3.0. And you say, Ken, what's that? Web 3.0 is read, write, and own. You have actual ownership layer because of the decentralized nature, and that's what all those different cryptos are all about. It's the ownership layer. You're buying into the ownership. Just like you buy shares in a company, you're buying shares of a distributed network. And we can see in terms of adoption, the adoption of the internet compared to the adoption of crypto, we've got decades, literally decades and decades for this thing to play out. Every day we get more and more news of different institutional investors, different banks, different countries adopting crypto. And yet we're all the way down here in terms of the S-curve, the adoption cycle. We're so early, it's just unbelievable. But there are a lot of people out there, especially those invested heavily in the stock market, that do not want you to play with crypto. Why is that? Because they know how good crypto is. And having been in the markets myself for decades and doing a finance degree as well, there's nothing like crypto. Crypto is the best, most incredible market that's ever been developed. But you absolutely require knowledge to navigate the crypto space. What crypto technical analysts do is they scientifically track investor attention. That's measured through price, which is reality, not future promises. Many crypto projects will absolutely promise you the stars and the moon, but they'll deliver much less. The price is the reality, so that's what we look at. You must always mark up your charts and be aware of the exponential nature of crypto. It's unlike anything that you've ever seen in the stock market or Forex. We must look to outside trends, mainly for adoption, because we need to understand how macroeconomic events are actually impinging. Because crypto is a really tiny market, it's going to be buffeted around by other markets. And this is something to make sure that you don't get stuck just purely inside the chart. Always supplement your knowledge. And if you don't do that, you will lose money. Then we look inside the crypto industry, finding the market's focus, understanding that opportunities reset daily. But before we buy and sell, we must get our psychology correct. That's what the real wealth mindset is all about, and positive excellence. Your psychology will set your profitability. And please remember Rule 570. Only then, when we have all of these foundations, do we get into the buy and sell. What typically happens, people go in like a light switch. They go all in when the prices go green and all out when the prices go red because they don't want to make a loss. We're totally different as professionals. We love leaning into loss. We'll actually buy a losing position. And people say, how could you do that? How could you buy a losing position? You're breaking all the rules. The question is, who gave you the rules in the first place? The institutions did. What did the institutions say? Buy at the bottom and sell at the top. And everybody knows this. But who told you? You can see here, just with this simple illustration, that you can make money under any circumstances, but you must know what you're doing. One rule that's really important to us is Rule 225. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. We know that the crypto market is really tiny compared globally to stocks and to bonds. But we also know GDP year-on-year growth is going up all around the world. That's because we're in expansion. And we can see that globally. We're heading towards expansion or mid-stage. This is really good because it means the economies, global economies, have got fuel in their engine. If we were all down here in contractionary states, yes, that's the time that you start to worry. Also, we're seeing increasing signs of institutional adoption. Goldman Sachs reveals 40% increase in crypto exposure from institutional players. And we've also had a fairly good earnings report from the companies that have reported so far. 75% of companies have beat their estimates. If it was the other way around, if 75% miss their estimates, then we would get worried for an upcoming bear market. And a lot of people don't understand that the stock market is actually driven by earnings. That's why it's important for us to look outside at the stock markets and global events. If we look at the VIX, and Masterclass students, you will receive my live chart in TM6, we can see that the VIX absolutely spiked down. I was saying this was on the cards. Because I've traded the VIX for such a long period of time, I know this particular animal, and it's exponential by nature. What happened? The NASDAQ 100 came up, but it's got a lot of support below it. A lot of people see this negative momentum and say it's all over. Institutional investors say, about time, I can position on the right side of the percentage. The markets are behaving quite strangely when we see the bond prices coming down like this. That's generally when the bond prices go up, we get economic concern, and we see this before very large sell-offs. But we've seen very, very different behavior from the bond market. It's as if bonds are not giving any shelter to investors. So we also see that the precious metals have sold off. Generally what happens before any kind of cataclysmic strike down in price, we get a rallying in bond prices because people flee into bonds. And we get a rallying in gold, especially gold. And we also get a rally in the dollar. We've definitely had this rally in the dollar, but we're not getting a confluence of particular positions across the board. And there's a lot of reasons for that. The markets have become overheated and they need to reset. When they reset, things will become clearer on what's happening. But please bear in mind, the US dollar currency index, the DXY, the DXY, is going parabolic. But we've seen this many times before. Gold went parabolic. What happened? It reduced. Oil went parabolic. What did it do? It reduced. And these are not small reductions. They're really large reductions. I just want to point out something here with the DXY. The DXY is coming up to a level that has not been hit for 1939 days. And it was hit. And now what are we seeing here? We're seeing exponential price action, effectively. And this exponential price action will, in all probability, lead to a bit of a retracement. And this is what you always need to expect. When you have absolute certainty that something is going to happen, more likely than not, it will come down. But it doesn't mean it comes down the next day or the next minute. In the stock markets and forex markets, things change around as they change around. We just have to bear with it. But the concept here is that we are seeing unsustainable price action. Maybe this could be easier to understand. From that peak, we had the DXY coming up around the 20th of March. Oh, sorry, March 2020, coming up to here. Now, what did it do after that? It started to come down, and it broke all of these support levels and then found lower support down here, and then basically bottomed out, started to attack these levels, push through very, very effectively up to this one. Now, what do we think is going to happen here? The answer would be, for a lot of people, it's just going to go up and up and up, and it's never going to come down. That is not the truth of any financial market. Price is always moving in a wave. It always moves up and down, then up. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Do you think we're set for a retracement? Do you think we're potentially coming back here, or do you think we're going to rally? It's a really good thing to talk about. Previously, I was explaining about gold's parabolic move up and saying, be careful everyone, this is going to retrace. And that's exactly what it did. And also with oil, I believe the same thing is going to happen with the DXY. So just please be careful. But as always, these things don't just happen on a light switch. It's not like people say, oh, it's going to come down, and therefore it will come down. These things do take time to play out. The Fed on Wednesday is going to increase interest rates by 50 basis points. It hasn't done that in 22 years. And it's going to reduce its balance sheet as well. What we do is that we always look at the facts of the market. What are we seeing here? The 10-year and 5-year break-even inflation rate are coming down. This is what the Fed wants. There's always a form of psychological warfare going on inside markets, and we can see the Nasdaq is coming down too. Contrary to public belief, the Fed does not want to crash the markets. If it does, there's a very steep price to pay globally. Masterclass students, you'll get this live chart in TM4. And we can see gold and silver coming down. This is really interesting. The inverse of the DXY can give us a bit of an understanding on which way precious metals may go, and they're falling in lockstep at the moment. We don't always get synchronization. Sometimes they can desynchronize. What caused this spike? Again, looking at the charts, you would not necessarily know, but we know this was Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Unfortunately, I see so many people just looking inside the chart, thinking that the chart will be magical and will tell all. The charts are really good, but you have to be aware of external events. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. When we look at Bitcoin, we can see a lot of fear inside the market, but there's also a lot of support between 37,164 and 32,332. Yesterday, when we were looking at the market, we were getting a bit of a positive cradle here, but unfortunately that broke. And what we actually see is the price has come down to test this particular support level at 37,725. The current price is 37,757. We've noted that we've nearly got into the C. We could actually say technically we touched the bracket of the C level, that one. So if you said either B or C, I think you're pretty much right. Now, what could actually happen to Bitcoin from this point on? And the reason that we do this is why? Please let me know in the comments. When we compare the Nasdaq's movement, we can see that there was an over-exaggeration of fear inside Bitcoin, but it's leveled out now. What actually happened? Let's actually dive in a little bit deeply. I'm going to zoom out here. When we look at the longs and the shorts, the longs have been piling into the market. They're getting a lot more confident. And what have we seen here? The shorts are actually exiting the market. So what actually happens when the shorts come out of the market? What we see here, when shorts start to come out of the market, it's usually followed by a bit of negative price momentum and then positive. Bit of negative, then positive. Just keep this in mind. We may see a bit of negative momentum and then followed by positive. Looking at liquidations can give us some kind of understanding as well. We can see over the past 24 hours that there's been about 100 million in liquidations, which is really low, across 37,326 positions. And over the past 4 hours, about 78% of those liquidations were long, about 80% in the past hour, about 85% in the past 12 hours, and 71%. So there's been quite a few long liquidations, but the shorts are actually exiting as well. The thing we can see here is there's not a lot of liquidations at the present time. It's almost like weekend trading. And we can see a spike up in futures open interest. This is really positive. It's very interesting that people, when they look at charts, they can see different things. As a former statistics lecturer in first and second year stats, when I look at various graphs and charts, and that's all I basically do is look at graphs and charts, I can see that there's a very strong directional correlation between Bitcoin's price, which is that kind of gold line, and futures open interest, which is this green line. What we're seeing is a little bit of a diversion at the moment, but underpinning this, I would bank on futures open interest before I banked on Bitcoin's price. This is why we apply our knowledge into the market. Please let me know in the comments, do you think that Bitcoin's price is going to go flat, up, or down? You can just say literally those words, flat, up, or down. And to all the new members of our community who are commenting for the first time, it's so wonderful to see you there. Thank you so much for reaching out and saying hi. Looking into the market's focus, we can see Tron still out in front, followed by Cell and Algo, FLM and Litecoin. And looking at the top 20, we can see Tron is the clear leader, but NEAR is also recovering, so just keep these things in mind. Let's have a look at the top cryptos. What we can see is Bitcoin just under resistance, but we understand how this price momentum works. Let's have a look at Ethereum. Now we're changing our focus to finding what cryptos are behaving with Bitcoin's gravity and going against it and enhancing pattern recognition. What you can see, this blue line, that's Bitcoin's price action. And we can see Ethereum is following it, but it's stronger. Binance Coin following Bitcoin's price action. This is why we must look at Bitcoin, because the fate of the alts is tied to it and not in direct proportion. If Bitcoin moves down 2%, the alts are likely to move down from 4 to 20%. Please bear that in mind. And the same goes when it goes up as well. Let's have a look at XRP. It's still under pressure. But just moving with Bitcoin's gravity, it's what happened to XRP, what happened to Binance Coin, what happened to ETH? The same answer, Bitcoin happened. ADA, Bitcoin again. And what about Solana? Bitcoin's gravity is pulling Solana down. We can see Luna maintains a lot of strength. It's been doing really, really well. And AVAX looks to be finding a bottom. As Bitcoin moves down, it's going to drag the entire crypto ecosystem with it. And when we see divergences, it shows underpinning power. And what have we seen in NEAR? Underpinning power. Keep your eye on NEAR. We can see that Matic has been under sell pressure. We've got a little bit of a basing pattern in Icon, which is really good. VRA has lost its support, and it looks to be trying to consolidate at the current level. We can see Rose trying to consolidate as well. Rune is looking more powerful. IOTA is selling off, just under sell pressure. But just bear in mind, what happened to IOTA? The answer? Bitcoin happened to IOTA. You can see it's just following Bitcoin's gravity. And we can say the same thing with IOTEX. Professionals always get on the right side of the percentage. They make the percentage work for them by BORSOGing, buying on red, selling on green. But please remember, Rule 621 has got a lot of knowledge that you need to apply to it. It's not as simple as just buying a red bar and selling a green one. You may be in the wrong part of the cycle to do that. Everything requires knowledge. And the markets will reward you if you have that knowledge, and they will penalize the lack of knowledge as well. We can see Theta under sell pressure. Also T-Fuel under sell pressure. Doge is looking a little bit more healthy, but it's still under sell pressure. The entire market is under sell pressure because we know what Bitcoin's doing. Therefore, we know what the market is doing as well. EGLD under sell pressure. And we can see Phantom has sold off rather sharply, but it has bounced back. These sharp angles cannot be maintained. When things get too overextended, they will do technical bounces. CHR, just under sell pressure, just like the entire crypto market, but actually we see it's moving in alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. We can see that LRC, Loop Ring, is holding up really, really well and starting to consolidate through this area. And we can see Atom has managed to fall below. It's under a lot of sell pressure, but always remember, sharp angles reflect. Please let me know your favorite cryptos and what you would like me to analyze. I'll have a look through. Just leave a comment on the YouTube comment section. As professionals, we're always making 3 in advance probabilistic decisions. We say we know what we will do if price goes for us, against us, or just goes flat. If you're not sure what to do with your current portfolio, just please, from this point onwards, try to make those decisions and do what's best for you, but do not act on fear. Whenever you buy or sell, there's a very, very large psychological component to it. Please bear in mind, without self-mastery, wealth disappears. To acquire self-mastery, we go through real wealth and a positive excellence life trend. We maintain it. We know that money is just the byproduct of doing the right things. And the best thing that you can ever do is have inner and outer peace. It's very underrated. A lot of people think that if they're kind and decent, that they'll be walked over or somehow they're weak. It takes a lot of strength to be kind and decent in a very cruel world, but we all need to be the change that we want to see in this world. Generosity is the opposite of scarcity. When people come from a scarcity mindset, they feel they must take other people's success in order to win. This is a surefire recipe to lose. Anytime we come from a position of scarcity, we're already obeying rules that cause us to lose in the long term. Scarcity, jealousy, is all form of poor thinking. And success jealousy is a very, very dangerous game to play. If you're in the market and you're competing with your friends or other people inside the market, you are already on the path to lose. I can't say this enough. Competition is so destructive. I believe competition is at the heart of all conflict, all wars. All the things that we don't want to see in the world are actually based from scarcity. In Zone 4, we get away from scarcity into abundance, and this is really important. A lot of people can make a lot of money, and they still feel absolutely empty inside. And you don't want to have a life like that. You want to have a life of happiness. And crypto can give you a wonderful life, but please be aware, if you don't get into Zone 4, if you don't understand the win-win kind of concept, a lot of people are very loud, and riches are very loud. This is all about the scarcity, competitive mindset. Wealth is very quiet. It's there to help people, and it's very easy to see who has a Zone 4 mindset and a Zone 3, a Zone 2, and a Zone 1. And you can basically see it through competition. Anytime in life that you feel you need to prove yourself to other people, you're already entering the loss of everything rule zone. Loss of everything rule zone. We talk about money, but it can be loss of relationships, it can be loss of a job, it can be loss of health, it can be losses of everything. Whenever you find yourself moving from a position of scarcity, basing behavior on the concept, I have to win this or somebody else will win this. Jealousy, somebody has what I want and they have it and I don't like that they have it, I want it. These kind of things always create internal and external conflict. Please let me know what you think about scarcity and competition. And how would you identify a person thinking from a position of scarcity as opposed to a person thinking from a position of abundance? Please let me know in the comments. This is a really, really important thing to talk about. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We have a very loving and caring community, and we would love to have you as part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students, and of course a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use and the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass, and you can always reach out to me directly on Twitter and have a chat with me. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care, and see you next time. Bye for now.